Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio. I'm so happy you're here this evening. I'm looking forward to painting that giraffe. It's been a long time since I've tried to paint something like a giraffe. I'm really looking forward to this. I was just watching my intro, and man, some of those pictures that are on there are quite old. I might have to update that a little bit. Before we get into it, let's talk about what we're using. I found some old paper in the studio and decided to pick it up and use it. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure I'm using the right side, but I think I am. This is bee paper. Many moons ago, I bought a roll of bee paper and got it here, rolled it out, cut it into different sizes. I've been using it for, 5 or 6 years now, ever so slowly. I found a small stack of it that is left here, so I'm totally excited to get to use this. On my right-hand side, over here are my paints. These are all M-gram paints. Let me put these up for you to see. I think there they are. And you'll see the colors. They'll go around and around and around. Anybody who has any questions about my colors, please let me know. And for the most part, I'm going to be using my King Art paintbrushes that I love so much. Kenya is here. Carlos is here. Hello. I'm glad to see you guys. Okay, now, before we start to tackle that, I'm going to turn this off for just a second. Before we tackle that, I want to take a look at this reference photo. So this is one of the things that I noticed when I took a look at this. I always thought that, thinking about it in my own mind, that giraffes are kind of a ochre color. But if you look down along the side of its neck, if you look on its cheeks, if you look on its ears, that's a lot more gray than ochre, right? It's a lot more gray than ochre. Where's my pointing brush? So we've got this is terrible because I've written it so lightly, right? Ears here, the whole neck, the side of his mouth here, or her mouth, I guess. It could be a her giraffe. I don't know how you tell the difference. It's got this wonderful, like almost a bit of a warm gray color there. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, since I realized that, I'm looking forward to this because that means it's not just going to turn into one big ochre kind of a painting, which is very exciting. I'm looking for a brush. But before we get into any of that, I'm going to throw a quick background on here. Actually, I grabbed a large brush, but I want to get an even larger brush. I want to get my background done very quickly. This is a size 5. That size in this doesn't mean anything. A squirrel mop brush or quill mop brush. I'm going to mix up some very light color. This is going to be a bit of cerulean blue. Actually, let me put my colors back up there for you so you can see it. Now, I didn't want the colors to be over top of the reference photo for you there. And while I'm mixing this up, I just want to say, Kenya and Carlos, I hope you guys have been having a wonderful start to your week. Hope that's going to continue here as we're painting together. And I'm going to ask if either of you have done anything fun or interesting. I hope you have. I will give everybody an update on the fun and interesting things that I've had going on. For those of you who were here last week, Carlos, I don't think you were here last week. Kenya was here last week. I told everybody that I am going out on a fishing trip with all of the students at my work. So I was going to give an update on that, but I might wait just a little bit. If I don't, you're all going to get to hear. You guys are going to get to hear about it twice because I know Dwayne wanted to hear about it. So I'll hold off on that, but I've been having a pretty good week. I hope you all have been having a pretty good week. In addition to that, I've got a cha-cha update, a chicken update. upcoming that I'm wanting to talk about. To tell you guys how the girls are doing. Had a nice lazy week. Can you? Sometimes you need those. Sometimes that's just what you need. A little R&R to recharge. Sometimes it's not even to recharge, though, is it? Sometimes it's just, it feels like you need that just to get by. Good. I'm glad you had a nice, kind of a little lazy, easier week. Good for your soul a little bit. All right. The one thing I have kind of forgotten with this paper, and you know what? I told myself about this earlier, that I wasn't going to forget about this, is that this bee paper, even though it is 100% cotton, even though it is nicely sized, if you paint wet onto dry, and I just did it right here, if you paint wet onto dry, you run the risk of having a humongous tide line. And I have gotten one right there, and it's going to make me upset. I'm going to try to fudge around that, or not worry about it too much. One of the two. I painted my dogs recently. It turned out great. Carlos, that's fantastic. I'm certain you've been painting over on Twitch. I have been running around and busy and doing a lot of things, and unfortunately I haven't had time to get over there. I haven't had time to get over there to do my own paintings even. But if that's where they're at, Carlos, I'm going to head over there. Or maybe you restream here on YouTube too. Seems I always catch you over on Twitch. I might have to check that out, though. I'll call that up and take a look. All right, there we go. Look, you can see that. You can see there's a hard line there. Well, we won't worry about it. You know what? Maybe we'll let that dry a little bit. Or you know what we'll do? We're going to fudge it. Yeah. I was going to say I'm going to put some green in the background. I can't get that all the way through. I didn't think it through. If I do that, I'm going to wait, and we'll do just Twitch these days. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'll get over there, and I'm going to check it out. That's totally cool. All right. Let's see. What else we've going now? Now we're at the point where we get to wait. I can start to mix up a little bit of paint. I'm going to start with a bit of a bigger brush here. Right, and again, did I show you this? My King Art brushes. These are the 90-20 brushes. Where is it at? 90-20 brushes. Yeah, it's probably way out of focus. My eyes are out of focus, which is what the problem is. And I love these brushes. They're fantastic. They're very much like other brushes, but whereas other brushes, these are both synthetic, come and have kind of a stubby point, right? This is a round brush of a different maker. It's got kind of a stubby point. These King Art 90-20 series brushes have this fabulous point on them. And that's what I like about them so much. If I use one that's got a stouter tip on the end, I'm probably only going to use that on an initial wash or something like that. I don't have the confidence to use a brush with a stouter tip like that, or a blunter tip, I guess is the better way to say that, to get into any kind of tight spaces. And with my personality, I like to get into a couple of tight spaces in a few things. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save myself a little bit of effort here. And I'm going to break this down into a number of different areas just to make managing the water a little bit easier. And if I go along the top of the neck here, I guess the spine area, the top of the neck, it's not going to matter right now because there's going to be hair and fur and stuff on there. But I want to wet this so that as I go over it, I get kind of a cool blended effect, and I get to not have that tide line in there, which will make me a bit nutty as we go through this painting. I don't like having hard lines on my painting. Some people do, some people it works for them. I don't like it. All right, we got a few more people rolling in here. That's always good to see. If you're new here, say hello. If you've been here before, say hello. Love talking to people. Love seeing people on here. I think I say it every week. This is one of the reasons I do live streams is because I like the interaction. I could probably always carve out some time for myself to do some painting, but I'd be sitting in the studio by myself. I was listening to the radio or a podcast or something like that, and that's not nearly as much fun as talking with you all as I'm doing it. What's the question? I love your t-shirt. I have a sticker of my own water bottle with a possum that says, eat trash, do crimes. I don't know if you can see the bottom of mine. It says, but let's eat trash, and the bottom of it says, and get hit by cars. I don't want any possum to get hit by cars. I actually very much like possums, but I do think it's kind of a funny shirt. Sudike is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you back in the studio. Hope you've been having a really good week. What, no aliens tonight? I'm happy to swap them out. I'm happy to do some aliens. Now that I know you want me to do some more aliens, I'll bring them back out. I'll tell you exactly why I picked this. One, I do like the image. All right, I'll say that. I do like this image, but I think I've mentioned many times before, I'm also a member of an art community. It's called PMP Art. And one of the cool things they do there is they hold a challenge, an art challenge every month. And every month I look at it and I go, is there anything in this challenge that I actually want to paint? And most of the times there isn't. But I look through the list of reference photos that are on there, and if I see one that I like, then I try to make it into that challenge and give it a good shot for painting it. And I look through, and for whatever reason, this week, because the challenge started at the top of the month, this kind of struck me. I really liked it. I like the image. It's simple, it's nice, it's clean, it's recognizable, and it's colors that I kind of like to paint with. It's not too much of any one color. It's kind of a cool thing, and I did kind of an Africa thing last week with the ostrich, and so I kind of continued that and do a little bit of an ostrich thing this week. I'm just trying to push this paint around a little bit. I'm going to let that go kind of the way it is. I've got that ear. I've got this. I'm going to do this ear now. I'm going to pre-wet it. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone with this. I was going to paint this anyways. And now I get to paint this on my live stream to turn in for a competition. Not really a competition, but it's a challenge. And we'll go from there. But have no fear. I do have other alien paintings queued up. But after this one, I think we're going to do one more normal one, or maybe we'll do a bit of a bonkers one next week or something maybe. But my mother works at a place called the Sandpiper, and she's asked me. Truth be told, she asked me quite a while ago, but she asked me to do a painting of a sandpiper, and she's hoping that it'll get hung up in their store. And I said, I said, sure, I'm happy happy to do that. I don't have a problem with that. So at some point, I'm going to be painting a sandpiper. Like I said, maybe next week, but definitely coming up sometime soon. We'll be doing that, and so I can get that shipped out to her and to the store that she works in. Ooh, that was a little stronger than I wanted. Ooh, I'm really happy this is all wet at the moment. That really went on thick, but we can push that up. And I don't know if you can see, it wasn't quite dry. My sky behind wasn't quite dry. Actually, that's probably more a limitation of the paper. It just started bleeding into there a little bit. If we keep it fairly dry, we should be able to limit that, but I suspect that the paper underneath was just a little bit damp. Oh, look, we're getting a couple more people in here now. Good, welcome anybody who's just joined us. Welcome. I'm glad to have you here. We're just working through how we're going to do this giraffe. I think what I'm going to do now, this is kind of wet. These ears are kind of wet. I think I'm going to put on my ochre in the middle, and I kind of have to be careful because the ochre only goes up around its snout here and over top of the eyes, kind of, right? The jowls on the side, or the cheek on the side, are still grayish. Let's see. If I put that up there so you can see what it is I'm talking about. In addition to that neck being that kind of warmish gray, the cheeks are that color, the ears are a similar color. The ears might be a little lighter, and mine aren't necessarily. We'll figure that out going forward. Not that big of a deal. But the top of the head is really what it has, that cool ochre color. And so we need to, I did that background, man, this whole page got sopping wet. If I didn't mention it, we are on YouTube tonight. Obviously, that's where you're all seeing me. Everybody who's been speaking right now, that's where we're at. But we're also over on Twitch again, restreaming on both platforms. So anybody over on Twitch, if you're there, welcome. Say hello. I love talking to you guys over there too. I'm going to turn this off because if anybody is over there on Twitch, this is where that area of the screen is where their chat is going to come up. I want to make sure we're going to be able to see that. And because of the aforementioned, how about that for a big word? The aforementioned limitation of this paper, I am going to wet this area before I put this color on. And it's probably going to have to be a theme of everything we do tonight is get this area wet. Just dipping into some clean water up here. If you see any little bit of color on here, it's because that's what was on my brush. And if anybody wants to know, this was always a curious question when I was starting doing watercolors. Do you have one water cup? Do you have two water cups? What goes on with your water? And in my case, I have two water cups up here. They're actually coffee cans. Two coffee cans in which I have my water. One is exceedingly clean and one is mostly clean. Take that for what it is. One only gets dipped into with a brush that is clean, either out of my jar that has brushes in it, or after having gone into the clean water. The other one, anything can go on with it. Doesn't matter to me. It's going to get plenty dirty. It's going to get just gnarly. By the end of the night, it's going to be a cloudy, muddy mess. That's okay. That's what it's there for. Natalie is here. Welcome, Natalie. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. Hope you've been having a wonderful week. I'm just putting on a base layer of some colors here. And we're going to build upon this as we go. This is bee paper, and bee paper does have a few of its own limitations. I should say the colors, I'm not super concerned about the color of this. It's fairly ochre-y, but I'm using just a little bit of burnt umber in there. Right, ochre can get away from you like many of the other colors. Ochre can be an overpowering color. It's like artificially bright sometimes. So if I just kind of calm that down with a little bit of that burnt umber, it gives it a nice look. And we're going to have some of these darker browns on here anyway, so we're all good with it. Okay, cool. Now, it looks incredibly funny right now, right? It looks terrible. Why do we have a gray thing and a warmer thing? Don't forget these cheeks on the side here, maybe the eyelids up there are going to get a similar color to this. Maybe not the same color, but a similar color. So I don't want to worry about that too much. What I do want to do is start to, since I've got this area here and since some of this is still wet, I guess that's still wet, but we'll figure it out. I want to start making this area round, right? Let's make this look like there's some shape to this neck, and then we'll come back and we'll do some shading and we'll put some spots on it and whatnot. But let's make it look nice and round at the moment, and that's, I think, a good place to start. And this is where, for me, I'm probably going to deviate from other people who are doing a bit of artwork, because my goal is not, right? My goal isn't to make it look like that as I'm doing this. It's going to end up something like that just by virtue of my drawing and my painting and whatnot. But after I've got that initial image down here, then I'll use it for some coloring and whatnot. But I really want to just take this and make it look kind of how I want it to look, right? And to me, this neck needs some roundness to it. If you look at that reference photo, your eye is going to say, well, of course it's round. It's a giraffe neck. It has to be round. Cool. But there, can you all hear that? Can you hear that knocking? That's Frida. Frida letting me know she's out there. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Pop, 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 pop. Frida has taken to tapping on the wooden walls of everything. I'm like, Frida, really? Like, come on. Every time I'm out here, Frida's got to knock and say hello to me to make sure I know that she's there. So I hope you all could hear that. Frida is so adorable. All the girls are completely adorable. I love them to pieces. Absolutely love them to pieces. Okay, so I'm looking at this now. It's okay. We got a bit more to go here. And I'll tell you what's not okay on this. What's not okay on this is this little bit right here is too light. Too light. That, and we can just do this right now. Let's give a little more let's bring this down here. I'm worried about a little bit of going back in to this paper. I haven't worked with this paper in a while. I'm worried about going back in on this paper with a damp brush, and without knowing exactly how much water I can put on this at any given time. I don't want to do it. So I've got this. I'm going to put a little bit more dark up here when we're done. As long as we make this lighter than that, we'll know that it's in front. We're going to be okay. Ooh, we're going to be good to move on from there. Let's see. What can I do now? I'm going to turn this way just a little bit. And I'm going to start doing a little bit of the area inside the ear now. And I'm going to try to keep a lot of this in the same color family, right? It's going to be ochre. It's going to be gray. In my case, it's going to be Payne's gray. It's going to be burnt umber, and it's going to be sepia, right? That's going to be a lot of this. I wish I had burnt sienna here for the main, but we'll figure something out. But in here, in this ear, I'm going to just deviate a little bit because I want this to be just a little bit darker in here. And I'm going to put in just kind of I don't know, my wife would call this like a deckled line in here or something like that. And it's probably gotten to be a little darker already than I really want. We'll work on it. But this is going to be that dark area right inside inside this giraffe's ear. Oh, no, something like this. I don't know exactly how it goes. Doesn't matter. We got some hair up there and a little bit of a dark spot up here. And we'll have to work around this a little bit if we give a little bit more shading to it, but that's okay. Doing the kind of the same thing on this side. Just allowing the area here for there to be some hairs growing out of there. And if we need to come back, there we go. What's this one sticking up by itself? There, let's do that. There, the inside of its ears. And already, without doing anything else, already we can start to see that we've got something going on with it. All right, let's continue this. A little bit of our color, a little bit of our grayish skin color, right? And let's give a little bit of definition to this ear. Too dark, not quite right. There we go. And probably I should be doing this with a slightly smaller brush. Anybody have any questions tonight? No questions tonight. You're just all enraptured watching me. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe I'm not using that word right. You're enthralled watching me paint and listening to me talk about whatever it is I'm doing here. That's all good. It's all good. It's all totally good. I'm going to have fun painting, and I'm going to do everything I can to let you guys have fun while I'm painting too. So I'm gonna find something interesting to talk about. I don't know if I can do that. I'm gonna try. All right, cool. Just trying to get some shape on those ears a little bit. We'll get going with those. That's still wet. Now we can start to. This is where honestly this is where it starts to get fun, right? Because we've got a few areas here that we can work with in here that have this cool mix of colors, right? Up here on the top of the horns is really dark, and then it gets into a cooler, not cooler as in color temperature, but a more interesting mix of oh my god, what am I talking? what's the color? Burnt umber and sepia here. Then right in the front of the forehead here, it gets darker again, and then it lightens up as it comes down. So we've got a lot of area that we can play with. And Mr. Oh, good. Welcome back. Welcome back. Glad to have you back over there on Twitch. I'm glad you could join. So we got a lot of areas in here we can play with and have some fun with what we're doing. And I'm going to start up here with a little bit of dark. I'm going to start on one side, right, with something that's a little bit darker, not completely dark. I learned my lesson with that lighter layers, Michael. Lighter layers will help us out. And then as we come down, we can go into this more interesting burnt umber color. We can even throw in some of this ochre into there if we really want to make this interesting. And just pull this on down. Whoops. Natalie says, have I ever fed a giraffe? So, believe it or not, I have. And I don't think that's, I'm not saying, well, I was out hunting along or traveling along the savannah and happened upon a giraffe. No, nothing nearly as interesting as that. What happened was my kids were, for many years, were homeschooled. And one of the cool things that the homeschool group did was we went down to the Santa Barbara Zoo and spent the night in the Santa Barbara Zoo. They had a program the program was specifically for homeschool kids, but I suppose they would let other kids do it too. But we got to go, and they have a small camping area inside the zoo, and we went and got our tent and set it up there and got all settled in and everything. And then as everybody's gone, well, it's time to feed the animals. And so they took us around, the zoo staff took us around while they were feeding the different animals, and we were allowed to feed the animals too. Now, we're not standing in the cages and doing everything like that, but all it really meant was there's no line at the observation platform like for the giraffes. There's no line at the observation platform, and you're standing there waiting to give some lettuce to a giraffe or two and feed them. So there literally were like a night at the zoo sounds like a movie. It does kind of sound like a movie, and it was a lot of fun. So we stood in a line of about 6 people, and I think we still had to pay to get the lettuce or whatever it was. It didn't matter. I was going to pay for it anyways. It wouldn't have mattered if it was $100 or 100 cents. It's something I will never get the opportunity to do again, or I don't imagine I'll get the opportunity to do it again. So I was willing to pay whatever it was going to cost. But yeah, so we stood there and we got on the viewing platform, and they gave us all some lettuce. We held it out, and the giraffes do what giraffes do. I mean, obviously they're not stupid. They were at the zoo a lot longer than I was at the zoo, and they came right over, and I don't remember actually petting them, but I remember them being close enough that you could kind of feel them around you, and yeah, you held your stuff out there, and they pulled it out of your hand. I think they told you you're not supposed to hold it and let go. You've got to hold it so that they pull it out of your hand, because that more mimics how they would eat in the wild, or something to that effect, if I'm remembering right. But yes, good question. And yes, I have fed giraffes, and it was pretty fantastic. I mean, they're fantastic animals, right? Nobody needs me to tell you how fantastic some zoo animals are, some wild animals are. They were pretty neat. It's an experience I'm not going to forget anytime soon. Okay, cool. So I've got some color on there. It looks like there's some interest in there. That's gonna, when that dries, that's gonna dry. I don't know what, 20%, 30% lighter. That's pretty neat. It's going to give us some opportunity to move on to a couple of other areas, but is also going to give us the opportunity to see what the end value looks like. We'll be able to darken. There's going to be a lot of darkening to go. Probably two, maybe three more layers on here. We're going to get some darker here. We're going to get some more dark in the center. There's a lot to go on the ear. We got a lot to go. Let's see. Natalie says, I went to the place in Deposit, New York, that was so popular on YouTube with a pregnant giraffe a few years ago. It's very close to my hometown. We fed them carrot sticks. Interesting. Yeah, we definitely didn't do carrot sticks. So Santa Barbara Zoo is famous for, and Vonda over on Twitch, you can throw this out if you know the answer to this too. The Santa Barbara Zoo is famous for having not necessarily a specific kind of giraffe, but a giraffe with a particular malady. 25 points to anybody who knows what that malady is. You're not allowed to look it up though. I'll give 25 points, which means nothing, really, to anybody who can look it up. Let's see. Any takers? Any guessers? Anybody want to take a guess? It's actually a weird thing, and I guess I had kind of heard about it and never really knew about it when I went to the zoo. And while you're thinking about it, no, albino, nope, not albino. When you want me to give you a clue, let me know. I'll give you a clue. Ooh, this might not be quite warm enough. Now that I'm putting some spots on here. Our gray may not be quite warm enough. Anybody else want to take a guess? I'll give you a clue. The clue is, think of a giraffe's most defining feature. That's the clue. I want to tell you, if you don't know it, you're going to go, what? No way. But I promise you. Ken, you can't think of anything. Okay, I'll give you another minute or so. I want to get these spots in here right now because if I paint like a spotless, good guess, but nope. More of a defining feature than spots. Good guess though. Might have been where I went. As I start to put more detail on the neck area here, like there's some folded up skin, I want to make sure that we're going over top of these spots, and I don't have to try and paint spots with a fold line in them later on. I think that would be tough. Crooked neck. That's it. Kenya, you got it. So they had a giraffe born at their zoo, and the giraffe had a neck malady such that it had almost a 90-degree bend in its neck its entire life. I don't know how long, I don't remember how long the giraffe lived. I don't know how long a giraffe would normally live. But the malady did not shorten, or I should say, it didn't shorten the giraffe's life by much. It did end up shortening the giraffe's life a small amount. But if you look up the Santa Barbara Zoo and giraffe, yes, Kenny, you get 25 points. That's great news. The bad news is they're not redeemable in any way, shape, or form. There was a giraffe born in that zoo that had a crooked neck, and it lived like that for a long, long time. And to me, I looked at it and I was like, that is absolutely crazy. How does a giraffe live like that? But I guess the answer is thankfully, it had that malady in a zoo. Because I have to believe in real life it would not have made it in the wild. But in the zoo, they can guard against it being attacked by other animals or hitting its neck and hurting it or anything like that. So fascinating. We got to see, so I believe whatever her name was, she died in the 70s or early 80s. So I'm not going to profess that I saw her, but you did get to go into an area and you could see part of her skeleton, which was crazy that you could see this giant skeleton, which has a giant bend in the neck, and think, how is it that a giraffe would live or could live like that, knowing that that neck is used for so much? It was absolutely crazy. All right, cool. So got a little bit of shadow on there. That shadow, I'm hoping, is just a little bit different from the dark that's in there, and won't get into it too much. I'm going to lighten that up with a little bit of our ear color here. And I'm going to add a little bit of color to the bottom of this ear down here a little bit. Just a little bit, like behind the eye here. Down on the bottom. A little bit. Being very mindful that I do have to work a bit quickly all of a sudden. Thank you, bee paper. If we wanted to, give a spot out here in the middle, maybe there's a little crook, a little bend in the ear out here a little bit. Let's give a little bit of something out here. All right, just a little dark spot, something to add a little bit of interest on this ear. There we go. Something like that. I'm not trying to be too prescriptive about what this ear looks like. I'm trying to follow a simple... federal agent is here loving the giraffe. Thank you very much. I'm trying to follow a simple script here. This line is kind of the outside of the ear, and that's going to be the biggest highlight. Everything else is going to be pushed back a little bit, and so the color's going to be muted a little bit more. That's all. Nothing else to what I'm doing. Nothing else about it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of color over here. Hopefully it will match in some way, shape, or form. Let's go up here. There we go. And we can do the same type of thing on the other side up here. Let's put a little mark, a little something here. There's a little bend in that ear. Just trying to give it a little bit of interest. Mr. Federal Agent, I hope you're having a good evening there. you remember from our last stream, Mr. Federal Agent here has a very young child in the house. And so I'm appreciative that you are, one, taking some time to watch the stream, and two, not asleep if you have some extra time. And I did it again. I kind of screwed this up because, and now I'm trying desperately to fix it. I'm going to have to leave it and come back to it. Maybe there's something else going on with that ear. I dabbed it on when it was dry, and I should have dabbed it on when it was wet. And now I've got one ear that looks a little wonky, and I don't like that. And that's all on me because I'm forgetting the paper that I'm using. I don't like that. I don't like that. All right. But we're gonna figure it out. I need to get a slightly smaller. This is the brush I really enjoy. How's our head up here? Still wet. Can't go back to that. Some of our spots are still wet here. In fact, there's a puddle of water right there. That's not cool. But we can put some of this gray on the Vonda. Vonda has made it onto YouTube over from Twitch. I'm glad you made it, Vonda. It's great to have you over here. Not that it was bad having you on the other side. But it's nice to have everybody in one place. Thank you for switching over here. We're all really nice over here, or mostly everybody's really nice over. I know I would say we're all really nice over here. I will say this is a fantastic little community over here. It's very nice. It's one of the things that makes it really nice to come on here on a Wednesday when maybe you've had a tough day at work, maybe things aren't going well. Could be all kinds of things, and I come on here on a Wednesday and it really makes me feel good to get on. It feels like I'm just getting on here and talking with friends on a Wednesday evening. It's really what it feels like, and it's really a nice feeling. All right, there we go. Got some of that color on this side. It's gray, but it's a little warmer. I was going to, I don't know how it's going to work now. I was going to take this gray color and blend it into, this was my plan before the evening started, and just take this up just like I did, but then be able to blend this out into this color that I'm putting on the side right now. But now, remembering how this paper is, I'm not exactly sure that's going to happen a whole lot. We'll give it a try. We're going to do our best. But we're going to have to see what happens. Man, even in that little bit of time, I've got some hard lines right there. And I'm working in a very small spot. It's frustrating. We'll get through it. We'll be okay with it. I think I got a plan for what we can do going forward. But this is good, right? This what I put in there warms up that gray. So we're gonna have to do some of that with this over here to warm this gray up a little bit too. But now we can do this. Where's my sepia? We can start to build this out up here a little bit more. I'm going to start with some hairs up here. I know I said we can do this, and then all of a sudden I just went right back on wet on dry. Let's pull this out. Let's pull this out a little bit before we have a problem. Still trying to figure out what to do with my ear over here. I'm a Survivor fan, so I was watching at the end of Survivor. Now I'm told. Now you're totally here. Survivor that's the so. Oh, I have an interesting. Connection with Survivor. No, I do, but I don't. So the first. So I should say. Let me step back for a moment. I married. Well, I probably married above my station in life, but that's neither here nor there. I married a Hollywood starlet. Ish. My wife was a member. I guess she still is. She probably still is a member of the Screen Actors Guild and has been in several movies. All of which probably you know of. I'm not gonna tell you her name or anything. She wouldn't. I can guarantee you she would not like me to do that. But and it's not with my last name, so I'm just throwing that out there. So back in the day when she was, working to get different gigs in Hollywood and everything like that, she had the opportunity to be on the first season of Survivor. And I don't remember why, but she turned it down. I can't remember off the top of my head. She turned it down and then was kind of like, why did I do that? I don't remember why I did that. So you saw a pop-up there from my friend Artful Turkey, who's a fantastic watercolor artist in his own right. His style is a little bit different from mine. If you ever are over on Twitch, give him a look. He's got some fantastic work. Yes, I am Twitch's most elusive streamer. I am on Twitch now every Wednesday-ish. And I would love to be on more on the weekend. If they gave me a third day in my weekend, I would be on Twitch a lot more. I'm hopeful that as the summer goes on, I'm going to be doing a little bit less, and I'll be able to be on Twitch a little bit more and a little bit more. But as it is, for the time being, I am a little persona non grata over there. Thank you for stopping by and mentioning that. It's totally true. It's completely true. Oh man, now laughing away, I've just splattered paint all over my painting here. All right, we'll figure it out. All right, so now I'm to the point where I want to start putting in some details here. And now look, I'm not going to start here. I hate this paper. I'm just going to say I hate this paper. I'm going to start on this other side. And I'm just going to start to put in the indication of where this nostril is. Right? It's here. Is my coloring exactly right? No. Do I care? No. I can adjust it as I go along. I just want to get some color on here and start to dial in where this nostril is at. I want to blend this way out so that I don't have any kind of a hard line here. And the same thing going down this way. Let's make sure we have no hard line. I just want that outside right there. Cool. Something like that. That's going to start the outside of our nostril there. I could take it around all the way. I'm not really going to do that. What I want to do is fix my mess here, but it's just ever so slightly damp. I can't do that. And I want to fix my mess up here. Nobody look over there. The rest of everything, this little bit here is really going quite smashingly. What paper am I using? So I made the mistake of, I do this. I have bits of paper all over the place. And look, I'll grab it. Look at this. Look, it's in an old manila folder. There's nothing special about it. How many sheets do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets I have left. I bought a roll of this. This is from B paper. Years ago. I want to say 2019, 2018, maybe even sooner than that, maybe 2017. I bought this I bought a roll of B paper. I'm like, big roll of it. I'm like, cool, I've got this giant paper cutter at work. I'm going to roll it out and cut it into different sizes, and I'll use it for this and that. I'd never used B paper before. Maybe I had, but never really thought about it. So I rolled it out, cut it. It was a pain. Then I had to lay it all flat, and I had to, I don't know, trying to get some moisture into it so it would lay flat. And I'm like, do I spray it and put it underneath something? This, I think, has just been sitting around for years, and so it finally flattened out. I would wet my paper and set it on my desk and put weights on it so it would flatten out before I'd do a drawing or use it or anything like that. Anyways, I remember not really liking the paper all that much and just being frustrated with it now as I'm remembering back. And so why I wanted to bring it up again and use it now, I don't know. But so anyways, I had all of this paper, many many sheets of it that I had cut, and I still have some laying around, and I've all kinds of single or old sheets of other paper too. They're just laying around, and I pick them up every now and again, and I go, why am I not using this? I should be using this. And then I start using them. Sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. Tonight is for the worse, but that's okay. That's okay, because part of watercolor painting is learning how to adjust from a setback, right? So this is a setback. We're going to figure it out. We're going to use this paper, and we're going to end up with something that still looks pretty fantastic. We just have to figure out, all we have to do, this, I can say the spot is a bird. All we have to do is figure out exactly what we need to do to fix it, or mostly what we need to do to fix it. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Perfect is a construct designed to make you miserable. All we have to do is make something that people are going to look at it and go, I get it. I like that, right? Doesn't have to be, using air quotes, perfect. Has to be up to your standards. If you have any. I'm trying to figure out if I have any. And we'll go from there. So it's all good. So while it's frustrating, it's not the end of the world. It's just a thing that happens. I just bought a new pack of B paper for a handmade watercolor journal I'm making. So I think I would like this paper better for journaling. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the problem with this paper for me is not that it's bad paper. It's that my expectation is different than the result that I'm getting from the paper. Right? And probably, if I were to have used this, 10 years ago or so, I would go, yeah, you know what? This is not bad paper. I can really use this, and everything would be fine. But my expectation of paper now is decidedly different than it was then, and as such, I'm a little less enthused about using the paper. The new pack was not as good quality as my old pack. There you go. So they've changed. Have they been purchased by somebody else? Did they get bought out? Do we know? What has changed? What has changed in their paper? Everything's wet. Everything's wet. Everything's wet. Everything's wet everywhere. Yeah, Natalie. Natalie's gonna put out videos on how to make journal. No, I'm not volunteering Natalie to do anything like that. I'll tell you how I do my journaling. I buy a journal online, and I go, okay, here's what I'm using for my journaling. Here's what I'm using for my nature journaling. Done. Natalie's probably making something super cool, and I would do about half of it and get frustrated and go, I don't understand how people do this. And hers probably looks, they were bought out. Hers probably looks fantastic. And mine would look, let's just say, less than fantastic. Let's just say way less than fantastic. I think I used slightly the wrong size brush there, but like I said, we're going to figure all this out. It's all good. It's all good. I'm trying to get a little bit of color here, and right next to that ear, right next to the front of that ear. So I want to build up a little bit of, just continuing to add a little dimension and a little dimension and a little dimension. That's it. Sadika says, I also make my own journals. What type of binding do you use? And you guys are way better than I would ever be at this kind of stuff. Repurposing bindings, like from an actual book. Like if I went to the library and I got an old book, like a hardback book. Is this what we're talking about? You guys could just make a binding out of that, or you repurpose that for a Coptic stitched it today. Ow. You guys could just use that to make a new book out of. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. But I'll tell you, if you needed to learn to build a chicken coop or something, I could do that. I can't do a book binding, but I can put together a chicken coop. There we go. A couple of eyes on there. Why do they look a little odd? Did I not draw them on the right level? Let's just make that one go up a little higher. Maybe the head's twisted a little bit. Looks like this needs to be a slightly larger eye. It doesn't really matter, quite honestly, because there's black that's going to go on around those eyes. The eyes are really dark. I just want to get something on there because I think it looks, this one in particular looks a little odd without having something there. They look very small. They look very small. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, Michael. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. How are we doing up here? See, and I almost did it again. I like doing that. I know we've got this darker area right in the center here. Artful Turkey, if he's still there, he does these like gossamer layers sometimes in his paintings, and he's going to look at me just globbing on this paint. I just imagine he's going, no, what are you doing? That's okay. That's okay. I'm also doing mine in 2 hours, and it's going to take him a lot longer to do his. His look fantastic, though. I will say, fantastic. Really, if anybody wants to see a practiced hand over there, he streams pretty regularly and does a fantastic job. All right, got some extra colors going on here. As we move up this way, I'm just going to drop in some more of this burnt umber up here. I want to have this beautiful goldish color up here. Now, you remember? Okay, cool. You found him on Twitch. He's very good. He's got a lot more going on his videos than I have on mine. Mine is just me sitting down and having a paint. He's got all kinds. He's doing polls and he's doing all kinds of stuff over there. But very, very good. Very talented painter. Come on, I don't want to get a hard line there. Anyway, we're the rest of this. Well, that's not true. I was going to say the rest of this is going to be getting some cool shading on a few of these areas. That's not necessarily true though, because we got this whole neck that we got to deal with here. This whole neck situation. Let's see. I got some. Put a little bit of this ochre down here, and I want the blending of the colors down here just to be so gentle and so nice. I don't know if you guys can see how this is working. The B paper here, the B paper, and it is aged B paper. Let's call it what it is. It's aged B paper. So the gelatin may have broken down a little bit. That's entirely possible. But the edges of some of the washes are getting really ragged, like the water is finding a way through some of the sizing a little bit. And it's not, to me, not really being conducive to a really fantastic watercolor painting. Let's see, I've done, so DK, talking about stitching. Okay, I've done Copic. When I'm feeling lazy, I used bookbinding glue and use electrician's tape as part of the spine. It's tacky, but it works. Interesting. Whoa. I also make junk journals for fun. I usually pamphlet stitch them. All right, you all are working way above my pay grade. Oh, I can't use this one. I'll go back to this one. I want to fix this. Now, because I did a light wash on here, I can come back here. This is my big, or bigger, it's not big, bigger, anyways. Quill mop brush. We're going to add a little color onto that. Look, already that looks better. Already looks better. I wanted gray, and I got gray. I just didn't want it quite that gray. That looks better. It looks better. Now I need to not mess with that and let that dry. Vonda says it's easier to see now on my Roku TV using the YouTube app. Do they even have a Twitch app on Roku? I don't even know. No idea. No idea. That probably makes me a bad YouTuber or a bad Twitcher. I don't have any clue. While we're here, remember I said that this had a light spot over here? I want to just take some of that out. I want to keep this color back here fairly muted, but I want to add some to it, some color to it. And now I'm fighting buckled paper. I've been messing around long enough. My paper is starting to buckle. But I'll tell you what, that's not a bad color, right? That kind of works. Kind of works. I think what I want to do. I think what I want to do. I feel like I'm all over the place. I think what I want to do is I want to add some color here. A little bit of color. Just warm that up. That was colder than I wanted it to be. I'm going to warm it. I'm going to warm this ear too. It's not going to help. It's not going to help that ear piercing or whatever that is in that ear. We've still got to figure out something with that. Really kind of makes me upset. But we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Are my colors all crooked? My colors are all crooked. Who didn't tell me? There you go. You probably haven't even been able to see the colors I'm mixing up there. All right, all right. I think we can do a little bit more up here. All right, lots of hairs up here. There's stray hairs coming off the sides over here. It's very dark up here. So I think at the top up here, I like where a lot of these colors are. And my challenge is going to be to incorporate this really dark color into these hairs. Right? Let's add these extra hairs onto here without making it chalky, right? Sometimes that can happen if you go over top or whatnot. I want to when it comes down, I want to leave this cool transition into these other colors. That's kind of the coolness of watercolors. When you get that just beautiful transition from one color to another color, and it just looks seamless as it goes through. So I want to keep that in here. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to blow this whole thing up now. I really feel like I'm going to blow this whole thing up. We're going a different direction, folks. Hang on. It's easy to see on my no Twitch. They do have Twitch over there. Twitch was easier to see than YouTube. This is one of those paintings that I feel like when I came into it, I totally had an idea what I wanted to do. Had a fantastic idea. I know exactly what I want to do. I'm just looking because it looks like somewhere on here I had a little bit of white gouache left over, and I don't want white gouache. So I'm going to pull that paint off of there. Oh, I do. It was hiding under my mess of other paint. There, it's gone. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to extend this up that way. a little bit, and I'm going to attempt to take out some of this big giant line, that hard line that's in there, just a little bit of it. I don't need to take all of it out, but I want to try to merge these two areas together a little bit. It's just, it was a bit harsh for me. It was a bit harsh. But I'm working with the limitations of the paper. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right, or we're gonna, or we're gonna have it be a bit odd. Either one. We'll get it going. Okay, now, excuse me for just a minute. There's some definition or some darker areas on this animal's skull here, and on this animal's forehead. We'll put some of these in, right, and just very gently blend these out, right? I really want these to be a gentle blend, because when you see it as a gentle blend in that little dark area on the inside of that, your brain goes, oh, it's kind of rolling like this, right? There's something underlying that structure. That's what I want to have here. I want there to be more interest than just a giant field of, albeit cool, watercolory color. Right, there we go. Now, we didn't do much, and all of a sudden it looks like this animal, this giraffe, has something going on up here. And let's connect these two areas like that. I like that. I like that. That looks, to me, that looks cool. Yeah. The only thing I don't like is we've now gotten a bit of a tide line right in the center. We have to pull that out. There we go. There we go. Look. So all of a sudden going around here now, there's a bit more of something going on. A bit more of something going on. I cannot tell you how frustrated I am with this paper. I'm so frustrated. This image is never going to go down as one of my best ones. Never ever will this go down as one of my best ones. This is going to go down as one of my most frustrating, by far one of my most frustrating paintings ever. Why do I use old paint or old paper? I don't understand. Why do I do that? Somebody explain to me what my thought process is. Why? I mean, I know why. I have it. I feel like I have to use it. I have it and I feel like I have to use it. And I don't. And when I don't, when I use my normal paper, and it usually end up with something that looks really nice. I am running out of a little bit of paper, but that's not an excuse. I'm pretty sure Amazon makes it to my house. I could probably order some other paper. Haven't been here in a while, but looks fine. Thank you, Natalie. Natalie says, looks fine on the iPad. It's getting there. It's getting there. Right? There's nothing bad about this painting. It's not what I want. It's not what I envisioned. That's the hard part of all of this, right? When you paint something and it's not what you envision, it's something different, and then you get a little frustrated by it and you go, why is it not turning out the way I thought it should turn out? Well, it's important to realize that that's okay. Stuff happens. It's all good. And like I said, there are totally different ways that we could save everything. We just need to do it. That's all. Actually, what I'm going to do, what I should have done, is start darkening right around these eyes. Get a nice dark color right around there. And you know what else I need to do? And it's wet. Why is everything wet? I need to start to get some lines on the neck here. Why is this continuing to run? Okay, here. So I'm a little frustrated. The color is continuing to run as though this is on some kind of wood pulp paper. And I think that's what's really making me frustrated with all of this. I put it on. It's not acting as though we're using 100% cotton paper. It's acting as though we're using part wood pulp paper, and that's frustrating. It's frustrating knowing that it's not. It is completely frustrating. And I totally feel, you know what I need to do? Let's do this. Let's take a deep breath. Let's get some of our burnt umber. Let's throw a little bit of this alizarin crimson in there. Let's just make this maybe a little. No, the Pyro red's too red. Oh, you know what we should have done? Let's put a little bit of this Azo orange in there. There we go. That'll be a good first layer for this. I was given a large pad of Arches watercolor paper that was about 20 years old. I used it for scrap paper because the sizing was no longer good. So I'm glad you said that. I'm not glad that you were using paper that the sizing wasn't good, but I had been gifted some old paper. And this was an interesting experiment because it was Strathmore 400 series paper, and I had some, and the paper that I had been given was from the 1970s. Somebody found it in their garage, and they were nice enough to hand it off to me, and I was like, cool, I totally will make use of this. With the same kind of thing, I tried to use it, and the sizing was just, it was non-existent. I was going to say the sizing was crazy. It wasn't crazy. It was absent. It's what it was. Natalie, you got to go. Okay, we'll see you next week. Thank you for stopping by. Very much appreciated. You know what? I'm going to promise next week, better paper, better painting, better everything. I know it's going to be better because everybody's going to be there. Natalie, you'll be there. Well, you were here this week. It's going to be just as good then. How's that? But anyway, thank you for stopping by, Natalie. Appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Let's paint a little bit of this mane on here. There we go. Does that make it look any better? It kind of does. It kind of reins it in a little bit. It does kind of rein it in a little bit. I need to wait for some of this to dry. I want to do something else with these ears. I think the ears need a little bit of something going on here. And I'm going to dip into my old friend blue here. And I'm going to mix my own dark. So I'm going to put sepia in with that. We've got these dark areas in this ear. You know what I think I should have done was not had that hard edge there, but we're going to figure it out. We are going to figure this out. And then warm a little bit of that up. Let's bring that down here. There we go. Cool. How does that ear look? Ear looks dark for sure. It's dark. It's a dark hole in there. That is for certain. I'm not wild about using the blue in here. This is really the only blue I've used on this whole thing. I don't like to mix like one bit of color in there with all these other ones, but I think it's kind of going to work. We pull this out. I like that I have that bright side on its ear. I like the modeling through here. Could have even been darker. That's where it continued to run, and it's a little frustrating. I can't get back and do anything because it's sopping wet at this point in time. Everything is wet. Nothing is... nothing's going to plan. We're going to make it go to plan. We're gonna get it going. He's got some of these folds right his neck here. I don't know if I put these in if people are gonna understand what these are, but some of them are already here, so we're gonna go with them. Gotta do a little bit to clean up. I'm just trying to look to see what we can do to clean some stuff up here. A little bit of this nostril can be cleaned up here. This is just going to have to be my version of this, which is what it starts out like all the time. My version. I should just be playing Frank Sinatra because I'm doing it my way regardless, right? Cue the Frank Sinatra music. I'm doing my way. No, I'm not gonna. You love watching me. You're learning. I don't know what you learned tonight. So what you're learning tonight, and this, I said it before. It is an important lesson to learn in watercolors. You're learning. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. You know what? Next week I won't make these mistakes. Next week I'll make all different ones. No. It's like anything you're gonna do in life. You're gonna do some really well, and you're gonna do some that don't meet your expectations. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to learn is how to get up or how to make corrections from your mistake, from any mistakes. You suggested to draw. Nah. And like I said, I'm seriously, I'm not concerned. I mean, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that I had the wrong direction when I started to do this. Not concerned about anything else. Because there are lots of times you'll pick something up and you'll go, I think this is how this should work, and I think I've got a plan on how to do this, and then watercolors smack you in the face, and you go, wait a minute, this wasn't what I was expecting. This is something completely different. And honestly, that might be the best watercolor lesson anybody's going to learn, is that some nights it's going to be hard. There are going to be nights that things don't work out exactly the way you thought. That's cool. Let's talk about how we recover from that. And let's talk about how to use that to continue on with what we're doing. Wait, so this was you, Vonda? Maybe that's why you made a suggestion. And because I saw this in a challenge group that I'm part of. And the challenge, one of the, you basically you pick an image and from a predefined list of things you can paint, and then you go with it. And I was like, cool. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I'm going to paint this giraffe. Oh, this looks kind of cool. But maybe it was that you had suggested it, and I went, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I went, oh, I'm looking for a giraffe anyways. But even if you had suggested it, or even if you did suggest it, let's say it that way, the painting of it is completely up to me, and I need to execute better. I'm probably being overly hard on myself, and I do that, and I'm okay with it. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, or I'm not trying to make you feel bad for me or anything like that. I'm trying to give an accurate assessment of my feeling of the painting as I'm doing it. And I'm going to use this as, because and we're going to sit here and we're going to keep working this, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better, and it's going to get better, and you're going to see it continue to get better and better and better. But there is going to become a time when I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we do it that way? And it's going to be like, oh, that looks really good that way. So I know I've got a shadow in here that we can pull down this way, and all that gets darker. That gets darker this way. No, I'm not upset with right. I just said the only thing I'm really upset with is the fact that it's not, the plan I had set out to do this isn't working the way I wanted the plan to go. That's the only thing I'm upset with. That's it. The rest of everything happens. It happens. It all happens for a reason, right? The reason is we need some kind of learning to happen. And it's going to happen. And I think I shouldn't have made this quite as warm as I did. I wanted to get some more interest into this ear, because if I get a little bit more interest in this ear, I think I can take it over to this other ear over here that really needs the help. So this one is called the banded ear giraffe. The banded ear giraffe. I just banded his ear right here. There we go. There's more going on in that. I'm looking to add a little bit of something here. A little bit of something that's going to help us out, right? One of the things you can do to help yourself out, you're having a little tough time, you can start to add a little bit more of the little details, the subtleness to things. That's where we're going with this one. Who knows? Maybe giraffes do have things in their ear like this, right? You never know. They might. They very well could. Could easily be a thing. It's been a long time. Blame it on hump day. No, no. I firmly blame it on myself. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. It is completely all good. Let's see. I can't touch this. This is still too wet for me to touch. Still wet, still wet, still wet. Where's somewhat wet? Vonda, do you know this trick? If you shouldn't necessarily use the pads of your fingers because there's sometimes oils there. So if you use the back of your hand and your sheet feels cold, that means there's water there. It's still a bit damp. Interesting, look at that. It warps back here, but it's totally dry on this side. If it feels cold, it's still slightly wet, which means water is still evaporating from it. And probably you shouldn't go back over top of it right away. You should let it dry just a little bit more. And this is one of the things that's a great hint. This is one of the things that the one watercolor teacher I had, and he was a fairly famous guy, said was, he was like, why would anybody ever use blue for shadow? And my answer was, I don't know, because that's what everybody does. That's what we're all told we should do. He was like, that's the biggest bit of bunko in the whole world. He goes, use gray or use black. He goes, don't use blue. So now I'm using a bit of black here to put a shadow on, and you know what? It doesn't look too bad. I have to say, it doesn't look too bad. I'm not sure it's brilliant, but I don't think it looks too bad. I don't want to get too much up into this. But there does appear to be a bit of a shadow in this area over here. It's definitely darker here. We do have to do some on the eye, and I do need to get a smaller brush for that. And my first layer was with Payne's Gray. My next layer is just going to be black, just like I painted around the eye with. But if I leave a little spot for the highlight now, I've got a highlight in there that's not like super bright white. Actually, this side is all in shadow, so I'm not even going to put a shadow. I'm not going to put a highlight on that side, but I'm going to put a highlight on this side. Let's do that. Now you've got a highlight in your eyeball there, whether you had one or not. There's a little highlight there. And we do need to go back with that black. We've got, I want to go a little darker around the nostril here. See, my problem is I like to put on paint like that and then go back to it and pull it out, and I'm used to having that be just having just a bit of a longer runway to be able to do that. I don't have that runway, and it's making me feel like I really need to push to get things done quickly. It's not that it's bad paper, it's just the paper that's here. If I had done a better job of understanding the paper, I wouldn't be in this situation. But it's okay. It's going to be okay. Now look, we got those big nostrils there. That's cool. Actually, this should have been more brown this way. I want to give a little bit of a, almost like a bit of a shadow on the inside of these nostrils here. All right. Oh, I like that better. That to me looks better. It's stylized on the outside. It is definitely stylized, but I like it better. And now I don't like that hard line right there. I want to do the same thing over here. I'm going to bring this right around. Okay, cool. I like it better. Slowly we're getting there. Slowly, slowly, slowly we're getting there. Very slowly we're getting there. I do want to come back up to the top and add here, but knowing that I have to be careful. Okay, all right, okay. I'm good with that. I'm good. It's getting better. It is getting better. It's getting better. I'm feeling better about it. I really am feeling better about it. What's the old saying that watercolor, you think it's going to be good for the first 10%. The next 80%, it looks terrible and you hate it. And then the final 10%, you like it again. Something like that. That's definitely where we're at. That's definitely where I'm at. There you go. Look. Oh, we may have crossed the gap here of taking out that hard line. It's a bit of a small brush to do this with. Clean water. Go over it in one direction. We can pretty much pull that paint wherever we want to take it. We got most of that line out of there. That's so much better. So we can do some of that on this side. That hard line on that first go around, that hard line was so hard. That tide line was so strong. This paper not allowing you to pull too much of that out. You know what? I'm going to do this now. This is totally not what's here, but watch this. I'm going to do this. Okay. That's going to give like kind of a brow ridge right there. All right. So we can do something on like that on this side too. A kind of a faux brow ridge here. Okay. This is where when I go, this doesn't have to be anything like our original. Doesn't have to be anything like it. But we get that cool brow ridge in there now. And now if we connect them up here, this is what I tried to do before. Let's connect these up this way. Then we can maintain kind of the snout area on this giraffe without losing some of the other coolness. And if we did some light layers, we should be able to blend this very nicely without it getting weird. That's a technical term. Without having some weird hard lines in here or anything. Let's pull this down with a little different color and come down with it. Okay. All right. Keeping it light along the sides. And it's all about what you want to do with it. It's totally all about what you want to do with it. But now we have kind of some brow ridges on here, and I think that's going to help set this off a little bit better. I'm going to take my black, I believe this is lamp black, in here, and redraw my eyelashes and draw around this eye. This is a big dark area in here. We know where this eye is, but it's a dark area right around that eye. It's very dark. Very dark. It goes right up to that. And then I'm going to just pull that out a little bit. A little bit. And I'm telling you, we're going to save this. We are saving this painting. We are totally going to save this painting. We are going to save this painting. It's going to be a little thicker than what I thought it was going to be. There's going to be a little bit more to it. That's okay. Sometimes that's what it takes. You got to do whatever it takes. All right. I like this nice and dark that's coming off of those eyes. It's got that dark area around there. Is there anywhere else we really need to have a dark? A dark. And I'm thinking about it. Now see right here what happened? Look at this. Well, other than the fact that I just dripped on there. Look at that water came down. That water continued to run down and gave me a hard edge there. And it should not have done that. It would not have done that if it was different paper. Frustrating. Some little detail marks here. A couple of little detail marks. Wanda, we saved it. Who else is here? Is there anybody else here? Kenya, you still with me? Sudike, you still with me? Anybody else? Is anybody else is here? Say hello, please. I would love to hear from you. Would love to. I don't know how long we've been going at this. Oh, a little over an hour and, well, geez, almost an hour and 40 minutes we've been going at this. A little longer than I thought, quite honestly. It doesn't seem like that long. It never seems like that long that I've been painting it. Dwayne is here. I am here. My mind is a day behind. I thought it was Tuesday. You're all good, Dwayne. It's Tuesday. No, I was going to say it's Tuesday in Australia, but it's not Tuesday in Australia. It's already Thursday in Australia. Third day ahead? Something like that. I don't know. So, Dwayne, let me bring you up to speed. Could have been a bit of a better attempt. That's all I got to say. A few challenges with this. This is B Paper Company paper. And I feel as though that's giving us a few challenges that are making this harder than it needs to be. K Hazards, Madeline's refusing to go to bed to watch. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so Madeline wants to stay up. So this is going to go on until like 3 in the morning. We'll just be here all day. Let's see. Yvonne says, took a pic of the giraffe for my Wednesday hump day, friends. Next Wednesday. Okay. Well, I'm so happy there are other people here. I'm happy to see you all. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join me. Really does make me feel good to know that I got some friends out there that are willing to spend some time with me to do some painting. And we're going to be finishing this one up fairly soon. Just trying to put a few more little details in here and there. This little bit, so this is a weird little bit that I'm doing here, and I had a plan on how to do this when I started out, and I'm not sure I'm doing the best job with this. These, it's good, the giraffe is turning his neck like this, and, its skin bunches up. I'll turn my neck like that. Skin on my neck will probably bunch up too, but I thought I had a way I could do this. Actually, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look that bad. It's just not quite what I thought it was going to be, but it's all good. Let's put a few out here like this. Dwayne, I do have an update for you. And K Hazards can back me up on this. For those of you who don't know, Dwayne is a fantastic fisherman, better than me, and I ask his advice on fishing matters from time to time. So last week I mentioned that I was taking my students out to go fishing, and right at the end, Dwayne was like, "I'm looking forward to hearing how the fishing goes." Well, the answer is, a good time was had by all. The answer is a good time was had. What does that tell you about the fishing? It was tough. There were some tough fishing moments in there, but I think everybody did have a good time. We had a couple of students catch fish, which was great. They caught a couple of fish that were nears makes no difference, 2 pounds, which is a nice fish for both of them. It was the first fish they had ever caught, so that made it even better. I always like so this is the second time we've done this. And I've taken plenty of people out fishing with me before, and I always want them to catch fish because, one, right, I feel as though they're going to have a better time if they catch a fish or two, and two, if they do catch something, they're more likely to come back and do it a second time or a third time or whatnot. Sometimes I feel as though if you don't catch a fish, that frustration factor can settle in there. It's not, you're willing to give it another try, but maybe you got to be talked into it a little bit. I don't know. I think everybody had fun. Oh, yes. Mr. Federal Agent was there. I hope he had a good time. And I know Kay Hazards is still here, but in his family, Madeline is the one. Madeline's the big fisher in his family. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Just trying to call it how I see it. Let's see. What do I want to do with this? So I want to stop for a second. I'm looking at this. Right. I'm trying to be objective here. Right. I'm looking at this. Where's my pointer brush? Whew. I like the eyebrows I've given it. I don't know that they're really there. They're kind of there. Where's my reference? There you go. You can see there's kind of a lighter spot over the eyes on that reference photo, but it's very subtle. All right, let's get back to mine. Now, oh, that's what I can do. I can go a little darker right around the nostrils at the top here. I like this area up here. It's got a nice, it's a subtle, but it's got a nice watercolor feel. Darker, a little warmer, right? A dark, cold, dark, a warmer, into some darker. But I don't want to get rid of too much of this light. I like the dark, light, dark, light. We'll get back to dark and into light here again. I like those mixes in all of my paintings. I think those help to add a lot of interest to things. So I don't want to take away all of that. Let's see, Vonda says, that is so awesome for the students. I love the Oregon, California coast. I've always dreamed of watching going out fishing. I've dreamed about watching and going out fishing. Come on out. We'll take you out fishing. Jolanda says, does watercolor ever turn out the way we imagined? No, it doesn't. And thank you for reminding me of that. It's going to make me feel a little better about this painting. No, that's always the challenge, isn't it? We have these preconceived notions in our head of what things are going to look like before we get started. And when they don't turn out that way, then we get a little frustrated. So you saw me in the middle of this video get a little frustrated with the painting. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. What would be wrong with that is if I let that stop me from finishing the painting. We all get frustrated about lots of things. That's cool. I'm gonna get on my high horse here, my high giraffe here. We all get frustrated. It's not a big deal. Getting frustrated is a fine thing to do. There's not a thing wrong with it. Don't let anybody tell you shouldn't get frustrated. Frustration is a thing that we all go through. We all go through it frequently. What we shouldn't do is allow that to stop us from continuing on and making something fantastic. What we should do is then utilize that as motivation to get better at whatever it is. Now we have a goal. We're frustrated with something. Now we have a goal to do something. Okay, I like that a little bit better. Let's see. Federal agents, I caught a great vibe. Kay Hazard says, I provide nature a solid weeding service. There was a little weeding going on in some of the fishing that was going on. Kay Hazard's Weeding Co. It's got a ring to it. No. Kay Hazard's Weeding Co. is fine. What you were doing was you were ensuring that there was plenty of opportunity for everybody else to get right down to where the fish are. That's all. That's the way I interpreted that. Okay. Avonda says, in my acrylic painting class of 10 women with one reference photo, we come out with many different takes on the picture. Each person sees things, sees different aspects that we see. Also, our personality. Yeah. I didn't mean to bring the class down today. I really didn't. My intent was, I don't know what my intent was, but there was a little frustration in there. But you know what? I'm looking at it. There's a lot to like about this, and there's a lot that we can save here. And I got some kind of token stuck to my white gouache. Interesting. They nicknamed you Van Gogh, and federal agent is running a subcontracting service there or something, a subsidiary of K Hazard Weeding Co. All right, so what I'm going to do, I think I did this last week too, is I'm going to make a kind of a gouache colored a bit so we can put some highlights on in an area or two. And I want to get all of this off of my brush because I want to give a little bit of this into this black, make a nice gray here, so I can outline this eye a little bit. Before I do too much, I don't want to lose this entire eye. Maybe our highlight on this side is going to be just a gray bit. All I want you to do is be able to see that eye there, right? I want you to be able to see that eye. Okay, so cool. We got our ochre color here. I'm going to give us some additional hairs on this ear. I don't want them all to be going exactly the same way, although many of them probably are. I want some of them coming around this eye, some of them coming around this eye. I'm just trying to break up some of these the harder lines that are here, right? And so now I'm gonna mix some of this white with some of our what is this? Why can I never remember the color names? Some of our burnt umber, right? And just a couple of hairs here and there. I don't want like 1,000 hairs everywhere with this. I really don't, because all you're seeing, all you should be seeing are some of the hairs that are kind of have highlights on them. That's it, right? There are plenty of hairs here that don't have any highlights on them. You can't see them. All I want to show are the ones that do have the highlights that you can see. So a very small number of hairs. And you know what? Let's darken this just a bit here. Let's do this, and let's give a few of them. Right? He's got some hairs down here on his lip. Just few here and there. He forgot to shave a little bit this morning. We can give him a couple here and a couple there. Right. A couple of places where there might be, some hairs growing out, but we can't quite see those hairs. All we can see are some of the spots that are there. That's just so slight. I need to pick that up just so you can see it, right? A couple of dots here and there. Kenya's got to get out of here. It's midnight here in Ohio. Yolanda, time for me to go to sleep. Thank you for the thank you for joining. We're almost done. Yolanda, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate having you here. Hopefully you'll be able to come next week. I guess starting in Ohio, you're in the Eastern time zone. I start at 10 o'clock your time every Wednesday. I'll be here next week. So if you're able to, it'd be awesome if you'd be able to join. I'd love to have you, seeing you back here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you have a wonderful, restful sleep. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Like I said, we're getting close. A couple of things. I'm trying to get just a little bit of hair on the outside of this ear. I didn't match the color quite as nicely, so I'm just going back, trying to give a little match. Our ear over here still looks a bit wonky. Well, I think that's about what I'm going to do this evening. I'll give a little extra white in there. And actually, I think our color back here really got a lot better. Remember at the start, I did it and I want a gray color, and then I did it gray, and I was like, holy cow, that is gray. And we had to come back over it. Well, we came over it with a nice color, a bit of an ochre color, and it really looks like a natural color now. And I like the spots on there. The spots aren't all the same color. The spots on there aren't all the same color. If you look at them, they're a little different here and there. So ours are the same way. I think you get the idea of the skin on the neck there. And I do like how it comes through these. I think it looks nice. Where'd my pointer go? I like the snout, right? We added and did a few things. Here we go. Twain says, this is the best night of the week. Thank you. I like the way this turned out. Yeah, some people are going to take some exception with the way I did the outside of the nostrils. That's kind of a thing I've done for a while. I'm willing in that instance to make it a little bit more stylized. That's me. It's turned into a nice transition down here. I like that it's darker up here. Probably I could actually come back with some black up here and make it even darker and push this value even further, but dark into some, nice umbery color here, back into some darks, right? We've kind of got this thing going on this way that you can see some darks in there. It helps to give some dimensionality to the skull here, and then it comes down and gets dark down here. And you can see where it comes up, and this area on the side is definitely back behind it. This is where I think we could have done better, or I could have done better. I think I can see it in person. I can see it. I look up here on the screen. It's a little bit more difficult, but I can see the gradation from here to here to here to here. I think this week it's a little harder to see up there, but it's still there. If I hang this on the wall in my office and you look at it, I think everybody's going to go, actually, that's kind of a nice looking painting. So a little bit of rough in the center, like I said, during the painting. It's not necessarily about what it is in the middle. It's about learning to recover from what goes wrong to make it the way you want to look. I think we got something very close or similar anyways to what I thought it was going to look like when we started out this whole thing. And so I'm not going to push it from there. I'm going to call it there. Next week, either a plover, because I promised my mother a picture of a plover, and so I might want to do one for her, or we could be back to doing an alien or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll be sure to post it in Discord before we ever do that. Until next week, then, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you're able to join me back here again when we do this all over again next week, 7 o'clock Pacific time next Wednesday. Until then, thanks so much. Bye-bye.